with me, Professor Yalman, from the TEDU radio studios at TED University. This is to reach out to those who have questions and want desperate answers. Why me? Because I've seen it all. I've seen it all in different aspects. I have been up, down, I was fired, I was hired, I was poor, I was rich. I fell in love, I lost my love, I became a kite surfer, I became a writer, I became a poet, I became a musician. I never stopped trying. At the end of the day, I never stopped trying. I never lost my hope. There was always a pinnacle in my life where the answers to those questions came. And if those answers are not coming by themselves, here's your chance to ask us. Ask us and I will answer them. As I say, life can get even or you can get a 7. So a 7 you can get much easier, not just believing in luck, but being persistently pursuing your path, which is your authentic path. Ask the questions. In and Out with Professor Yalman every week on Thursday with you. In and Out with Professor Yalman. I have two wonderful guests here. We're going to be talking about happiness, the philosophy of happiness, and the book recommendation right away at the very front of the show. Happiness by Frederick Lenoir. And he's talking about some philosophical discussions on happiness. Cause is happiness a choice? Or is happiness indicated, or is happiness connected to certain things? Is luck part of happiness? Are you born happy and then you're sorrowful later on? Anyway, I'm not going to answer those questions. I have two students of mine who are here with me in the studio. Let's get to know you guys. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, sir.
Well, it's a great honor to have you guys over here. So let us know you a bit.
Sure. I'm going to start. So my name is Haares Munir, and I'm a fourth year final semester student. I'm actually taking one course with you as well.
Yeah.
Brand management.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm going to graduate soon. So when I talked to Dilay, she told me about your podcast happening, and I was like, this is a really great opportunity since it's going to be my last semester to to have a talk with you about a certain topic, and it would be really great,
Excellent. And we have...
hello everyone, I'm Dilay. I'm a third year industrial engineering student in TED University.
And they're here to talk about...
Happiness.
Well, in class, you said to me that you want to talk about happiness and the cultural effect of happiness.
Yes.
Yeah. But I want to start with asking this question to both of you. Actually, why do you want to be happy?
Because deep down, we are all searching for peace, I think. Not loud joy, just that quiet moments where everything feels okay. Even if just for a second also. Happiness tells us you made it though another day.
So happiness is like aphrodisiac that sort of puts you in a good mood. What about you?
I would say happiness is one of the greatest feelings for a human being. And when we're young, we get to experience it every day because we don't have so many worries. We don't have a lot of things to worry about. But as soon as we grow old, it diminishes. So
yeah, that was my second question actually. Why does it diminish? All of a sudden we're happy when we're kids, we're laughing. Yes, we're crying, but we're at the same amount of moments. We're also laughing. We're bursting laughters, whatever. That's the way we express ourselves. But why does it diminish as we get older?
I think life starts getting real. Life starts getting real as we grow old. We get remembered about our life goals and the things that we have to do, or not just our expectations but other
But
people's
then you're
expectations
now getting
of
into
us.
a philosophical issue where you say life starts getting real. So life, when you're a kid, life is not real. Is it surreal?
No, I think that life is also real, and this
But
life is also real, but like our goals and our priorities
but
change.
who
Like,
creates this life which have these strict rules which sort of steal our happiness from us? So why do you think it diminishes?
I think we bury it maybe under deadlines, heartbreaks, bills, or expectations.
Expectations and heartbreak. So it's due to the experiences that we sort of go through with other people and incidents and situations.
yeah,
That sort of keeps a track record of not trusting or not feeling worthy of being happy.
I think as kids, we lot before thinking, but as a adult, we think so much and forgot to love.
forgot.
Yeah.
So we
forget to enjoy
overthink and
life.
we make ourselves unhappy.
Yeah.
What about attaching happiness to other things?
I think everyone does it.
So I want to buy this car and then I'll be happy. And all of a sudden you buy that car and you're not happy anymore. So you're looking for another attachment factor of being happy. How do you explain that? Like when we were kids, maybe it starts with when we were kids, because then we want to sort of
That's exactly the
suck
topic
milk
that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. When we were kids as well, our happiness was also attached to materialistic things. For example, when I was a kid, I wanted to buy a certain phone. I would ask my dad or my mom to buy me that phone. If I would get that phone, then I would eventually get happy. If I didn't, I would just cry about it. It starts from when we were kids, having or wanting to buy toys or certain things. As soon as we grow older, we start attaching our happiness to materialistic things. Some people don't do that. Some people find happiness and joy in just being themselves. Maybe it can be, for example, going out for a walk in the nature that makes them happy, or just being able to breathe and acknowledge your existence. That can also be a factor that makes people happy. But in our society, I really believe that people attach happiness or that feeling of achieving happiness through things. It can be through, for example, as you mentioned, buying a car. It can be buying a house, or in some of the cases, for example, my happiness usually comes from the people who I love when I see them happy. It can be, for example, making my mom smile, or making my mom happy, making my friends happy, or making the people I really love happy. So when they're happy, it makes me happy.
So that's still external, though. It's like, it's like the same thing. Like, buying a car, you're happy.
Exactly.
Your mother's happy, so you're
Instead of
happy.
things,
so it's sort of an external effect to it. But how would you how would you sort of connect the cultural element to this? Because happiness can be described in different levels according to different cultures and geographies as well. Like when you listen to a certain kind of music, for example, when you're dancing lambada, okay, in Brazil, it's a very happy tune, and you're smiling, whatever. But then you come to the eastern part of the world, and all of a sudden you're more your lyrics and your chords become more diminished and more minor chords, and you have more sorrow,
sad songs,
sadness, like as if it is carrying the remedies of the remembrance of all the battles fought on that piece of land. So how does it so come to being that the cultural differences also play a role?
I think culture is how our hearts speak their truth. Some people dance to forget their pain, maybe. On the other hand, others seem to feel it deeply. So both are ways to say, I'm human, I feel, and I survive. And it makes them happy, I guess.
For example, you guys are from different cultures. And how come you joined each other in this podcast?
Do you want to tell this story?
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, the reason we choose this topic is how we first met. I was the president of a student society, and I was really upset because of some problems during our a trip we went to go.
We went to Cappadocia.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I thought Haares is an international student, and we don't even talk so much.
Where are you from, Haares?
I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan, yeah.
So I just sat next to him and started to cry. He was watching Friends.
Yeah.
And to cheer me up, he offered me and one of his AirPods.
Earpods?
Turn out it was his comfort show too. That day we realized that the spirits are different cultures. Even without speaking, or we could share to the same kind of happiness.
Yeah.
So despite the cultures, you can share the same happiness through an incident of sharing something.
Yeah.
So in your culture, where you come from, is sharing a big element of cultural cultural ingredient of happiness?
By sharing, do you mean sharing experiences or
Sharing of any sort.
Definitely, I think in my culture, sharing is what makes us, I think, stand out from other cultures. For example, in our culture, caring for your friends or your family or even to strangers, sharing your needs, being hospitable to them is what makes our culture, like, it's what defines us. So obviously, like, I'm a really social person, and I think when she was talking about this trip, I was the only international on the trip, and I tried my best, despite being the only one over there, try to make friends and talk to people. And yeah, so we have this element of sharing in ours. So when I saw her sitting, and I could obviously, I'm good at making or looking at the little observations, so I can catch people's mood, I can catch people what they're feeling and how they're feeling. So I try to use my emotional intelligence and emotional empathy accordingly. So when I saw her,
When I look at this book, again, the book by Frederick Lenoir, Happiness, A Philosopher's Guide, there are certain sentences. It says, is happiness contagious? Can happiness and suffering coexist together? Does our happiness depend on luck? Is there a connection between individual and collective happiness? And is there a difference between pleasure and happiness? So I want to sort of touch base on the last question. In your generation, which I think is a fantastic generation, I said that in class, I think your generation should rule the world. When I mean their generation, I'm talking about those who are between 20 and 29 right now. So I love that generation. My heart beats with your generation. I'm really unsure about the ones who are 15, 14 right now. I think they're going to be more vicious and ruthless. The ones who are 30 plus right now, they have different concerns. My generation is lost anyway. The ones who are in their 40s, they're partying hard. So what they couldn't do in their 20s, they're trying to do right now. So my hope is your generation. Anyway, so that's why I want to ask you this question. Is there a similarity or difference between happiness and pleasure, according to you, from your perspectives?
Okay, so what's pleasure? So for example, you do something, and it brings you a lot of joy. So I think there's a direct relation with happiness and pleasure. It can be, for example, me achieving a really high grade in one of my exams. It brings me happiness, it brings me joy. Or the smallest things, like, for example, spending time with my family or something. It's a source of pleasure for me. It's a source of joy for me. So I think there's a direct relation with happiness and pleasure. But there can be a difference as well. For example, pleasure doesn't always bring you happiness. You can get pleasure from things that you know is harmful for you and eventually can be bad for you. I'll give a small example, like maybe taking drugs or smoking. Like, for example, I smoke. And for the timing, it brings me pleasure, it brings me joy. But I know in the long run, it's going to be harmful for me and my health. So it doesn't always make me happy, because when I think about the long run, I know it's going to be harmful for me. So pleasure and happiness, they can be directly related, but there can be a big difference in between as well.
Okay, and so according to your words, then I would say pleasure is less lasting, and happiness is the real happiness is a more endurant, longer lasting feeling.
True.
Well, let me ask you guys, what makes you happy?
Moments that feel like poems.
Moments which feel like poems.
Yeah. A part of poems, maybe. A pause between two love. And the way people look when they talk about something they love.
For example, Friends?
Yeah.
Because
you can
Friends.
find a part of yourself in that series.
Yeah. And what makes you happy?
Good question. You must have probably guessed it by now, but my happiness mostly comes from the people around me. So I would say, first of all, my family and my friends back in my country, or even the friends that I've made here in the country, including Dilay. So I think my happiness usually comes from people and when I spend time with them. But I would also say my happiness also comes from spending time with myself, or achieving my goals, or getting better. That was... I quickly heard that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Better and better. Yeah. Okay. Can one choose to be happy against all odds? Like, you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be happy today.
I think yes.
Yeah?
I think it's about your mindset. So
whatever happens, it doesn't matter. If I break my hand, if I
it gets difficult.
lose my sweetheart, if I don't have any money, and if my mother sort of, gives me the pins and needles by her recommendations the entire day, whatever. So you can still be happy?
I think it gets difficult along the way if there are a lot of factors that are trying their best to bring your mood and happiness down. But still, people can find happiness. There are so many people in the world that don't have money, or that don't have friends, they don't have family, and their life is shit, okay? But they still try and manage to be happy by their surroundings and by nature, or they try to find happiness in the small things in life. So I'm not going to say it's really easy and everyone can do it. For example, I know I wouldn't. I know a lot of people, they wouldn't probably. And it gets difficult along the way, but it's possible.
What about you? Can you choose to be happy against all odds?
I guess yes. Because if you want to be happy, you try to find some details about everything and find little details for makes you happy.
That's nice. Well, I asked this question to myself as well, and I think choosing to be happy every day is a very meditative state of being. And it's very difficult, as you said.
Yeah.
But once it's achievable, I'm not saying it's sustainable, but once it's achievable, miracles could happen. Yeah.
True.
So, In and Out with Professor Yalman from Radio TED-U studios at TED University, Ankara. We were talking about happiness in a very philosophical and genuine format, and I want to end this with, you guys spoke about friends so much, so yeah, why don't we become friends? I love this.
Everyone else.
Yeah, you can sing it. I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. I'll be there for you. Radio TED U Studios in Ankara and from TED University. We're ending this episode. Be happy, guys. Be happy. That's a very important ingredient of life.